Okay, hello everybody.
Hello everyone, MykeCheck'd 95. Again, Creaker Margin has having his forehead cut off. I'm trying to fight with this. I'm still trying to get a tripod. So we are here stepping into the universe of the Haunting series, of the two seasons that they've done. But in this video, we'll be discussing The Haunting of Hill House. And I recently found out that this was directed by Mike Flanagan, one of my personal favorite, most recent horror directors. I have not seen a movie that he's done that has been utter trash. He's done pretty much really good work, as far as I know. And I went into this blind. I just heard like some bits and pieces about this series here and there. I did not know what I was getting into. You can do the synopsis if you want.
Yeah, so one thing that's really good about this anthology that they're going to be doing about this is each one's based off of like a famous novel or book. So the writing's automatically going to be pretty good. This one was by the same name, A Haunting on Hill House, by Shirley Jackson. Shirley Jackson. So it's an older novel. That one's not as famous I've heard before.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yes, spoilers on this, on our thoughts.
I give spoilers anyway, so spoiler warning. It's been out for like 2 years.
So one thing I really like what they do is the way that they tell the story is they do a time jump, which some people like a more linear story, but this one kind of ties the pieces together in just the way they've directed it over time, jumping between when they're kids and when they're adults, and you kind of try and find out what's going on. They spend time in a summer house. They're supposed to be flipping it. I guess that's what the parents do. Seems like they move around a lot.
Yeah.
And as they live there, they discover more things and more events happen, and you're trying to figure out what happened to the mother. I could talk all day about the stuff I like about that, about the way.
Honestly, me too. Me too. And I think you've seen this one like probably twice.
Yeah, 2 times now. I like it just as well as the first time. They do a really good job of, a lot of times in horror movies, you've all seen it, a climax is about midway through the movie, and you just don't give a shit for a little bit. You're just like, okay, let's kill people, let's get it out of the way. That didn't happen this time. It was very suspenseful. There's some things you don't catch the first time you went through. Like, for me, the first time I went through, I didn't pay attention to every single background of the scene until we were 4 scenes in and realized that every single fucking scene they had a character in the background.
When it was like by 4 episodes in or whatever, I was like, hey, yo, so I remember something about them saying there was ghosts in the background and whatnot, and you were like, oh yeah, I remember that, and that's when we started paying attention, and you were like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And I'm like, I told you. I was told about this.
The best one was whenever she was going in the basement, climbing down the ladder, and there was like a fucking chick under the ladder.
The one that got me was when the father was fixing the wall, and then he like leans back and the camera follows him, and there's like this fucking old lady like peeking around the wall like, you can't see her face, it's like all blurred out, but it's just like the way the camera pans and the way her face just like crawls on the camera just made my fucking skin crawl, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And the sickbed lady also.
Oh god, yeah, that one caught me off guard. I wasn't paying attention, and then all of a sudden I saw, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So, and they didn't really try too hard with the jump scares. Like, there was some jump scares, but it wasn't like you're seeing the Annabelle prequel. I remember going to the movie theaters. That was the last time that we had a big group of people. And that entire film, the only thing that was good about it was jump scares. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of horror films that are like that, where they're just trying to scare you off a thrill. This wasn't like that. This had build up. You really felt for some of the characters. Like, I had this experience first time watching it through. And then clearly the way Mike reacted to it, a lot of people feel for Luke so much. Just because I'm assuming the actor that plays the young kid portrays him as such an innocent person, and then once he gets older, you're just like, what happened? And a lot of people can relate to that in their own life.
And the adult actor for Luke is so fucking good.
Yes. Yeah. All the actors in this film except for Shirley.
Oh yeah, she played good as a bitch though.
She is a good bitch, but God, I hate her.
The only actress I actually knew in this movie, I don't remember her name, but she was the girl that could like touch feelings pretty much. She could feel feelings by touching people.
Yeah.
Because she was in Hush which was also directed by Mike Flanagan. Later on, I found out that she's actually Mike Flanagan's wife, so that explains why she's in a lot of his work.
And gets the more interesting characters.
But I mean, she's a good actress too. She's actually really good.
I'm not one to get emotional, but whenever she touched the body, and later on she was describing what she felt, I tear up every time I hear that, because there's just so much passion in that monologue that she does, and I can relate to that, and I'm sure other people can too. Just feeling empty. So, I mean, it's so good. Now, one thing I did not like, watching it 2 times through, there is a dialogue issue that happens that I hate. I absolutely hate.
One little line.
They're in a fight. You know, the sisters, they're arguing. And one punches her in the boob. And she said, "Did you just punch me in the boob?" And she said, "Yeah, I
felt
punched
like
you in the boob."
that line was probably like ad-libbed or whatever. Not ad-libbed, but it came up on the fly, I think, by how it was delivered. I mean, who knows?
Why would they keep it? Why would they keep it?
I don't know.
It's so out of character.
It kind of
the two.
jarred the series a tiny bit, but it wasn't enough to like it was a quick little,
Negate
oh, what the hell, and all of a sudden, scary shit's happening again. Oh god, the other jump scare that got me really good. The two of their sisters are arguing in the car, and they're yelling back and forth, and then the other sister that had died, she just comes popping between them, going, like right in between them.
Yeah, just like she's been trying to say for episodes. You could tell she's just, shut up. This is important. People are gonna die if you guys don't get the shit.
And you were probably like, you were laughing at me at my reaction, because you were just like, oh my god.
I knew.
Like, oh shit.
I knew it was coming. It freaked me the fuck out the first time, because I didn't really get a good glimpse of who it was, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck was that? Like, I was afraid it was the crazy lady that did all the intense monologues. It was like, I'm gonna fuck these guys.
Oh man,
up.
like
trying to cause a wreck.
We can't forget about her. No, she
made that.
She played as a lunatic.
Oh my god, she could just rant about shit, and then you could. The imagery was so good, and you're just like putting yourself in her shoes, and it's just like the most horrifying thing. Like if you lost a kid like that, and then you could understand like that happening, and then you going crazy, because that's the most painful thing. And then she's just describing, and it made me relate to them. I'm not a mother. I'm not a mother. The whole character, like the mom, you're just like, how did she get so crazy? And as it's going along, you're like, okay, she's constantly going through all these stressful events. She's already had some mental health issues. And then her husband's not showing her any support, and then the only thing she knows is she loves her kids, and she wants to protect her kids, and her whole world's falling apart, and she found a solution, misguidingly, to kill her children, to keep them with her to forever on this property. I can understand her logic, even though I would never be like that fucking crazy, I don't think. But you never know.
I think the one thing, like, you were probably getting to the point, but you didn't actually said it out loud, but like, the psycho lady from like the 50s, how you said she was describing everything, and like it was so fucking crazy and so fucking insane and so like horrific to hear, but she just did it so nonchalantly, like and it's like,
well, the thing that caught me is it's like she's starting a casual conversation out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just nonchalant, like she spit this out like normal conversation.
Yeah, she doesn't change her tone. But you can see the passion in her. The actress plays it so well, because you can see her going back to that time. You can tell she's broken from that. Like, it's normal for her now. There is no normal anymore. It's just that one thing that she's overliving, and it broke her as a person. And I knew after I watched this series, I was like, okay, I gotta show Mike, because this shit is good.
I don't know why it took me so long to watch it for 2 years, because even my old boss from my old job was telling me to watch it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it, because I've been told by 1,000 people to watch this show, or watch that show, or watch this show, and I'm like, I'll get to it, and then I just get lazy and forget about it.
Yeah, and I was like, I gotta play this.
It's like, Mike, you're gonna sit your happy ass down, you're gonna watch this show, I'm gonna make you watch this.
I don't have any complaints other than the boob thing, and that's really nitpicking. I mean, I'm fine with it. There's so many twists. It's not cheap. They earned it on this. The directing was great. The transitions were fantastic.
The one long camera shot they did for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of a nod to the Daredevil TV series. But
are you talking about as the dad?
Where it's just continuously going and going and going and going, and there's like all these perfect transitions, and it's just a continuous long shot, no camera angle changes, no cuts, no nothing. It's just straight shot, and it's like, what the fuck? In a good way.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes from, okay, I'm at my daughter's funeral to I'm literally watching the memory of some traumatic bullshit that's happening. The cuts that they made were the transitions impressed me. Like, most of the time, I make fun of stupid transitions, including my own. But I'm impressed by this. And I'm usually, I've reviewed things in the past, and I don't think if I've ever given a perfect score to anything, but I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I feel like I've done really close, like 9.5, something like that, but I've never really said this is perfect. This is perfect.
I would honestly say the same thing. Like, this is honestly a 10 out of 10. Again, like, besides the one actress I knew, the other actor that really, really pulled out to me was the adult who played Luke. Like, I'm nothing bad about the other actors and actresses, but it's just for some reason, I feel like he did a really good job. Like, to me, he was like a standout in this series, was him.
I don't think there's a bad actor in this. The couple that would stay on there.
Oh, yeah.
Even his monologues were good. And he's supposed to be some kind of hick, fucking helper, creepy
hick fucking
guy.
helper.
And then when he talks about the miscarriage that they had, you can just put yourself in his shoes and the pain that he felt with his wife, how he loved his wife, and they tried everything to have the best that they wanted, and then it fucking sucks because that's foreshadowing. Because even though they tried their best in life and they were honest and they did what's right, their daughter still died. They still died. And sometimes in life, that's the message I took away from that. Sometimes in life you can do everything right and you still lose.
How is this better than any other horror film that we've seen? Horror film that we've seen the last like 10 years.
The past 10 years?
Like, I mean, just in general. Like, yeah, there's a couple here and there that are actually at the same caliber as this, but the majority, I would put this in the same category as like dramas or whatever and anything. Yeah. Like, this is like better than most movies that we see nowadays. Yeah.
So I was looking,
and it's done by a movie director.
Yeah, and I was looking this up before we did this to look at the budget, because we were looking at the budget of Friday the 13th that was like $2 million.
Yeah.
This TV series for the season was an $80 million budget that they spent 2 years working on. God knows how long to perfect the script. I mean, a lot of the other horror movies, there's always fuck-ups, there's always things that aren't as good, there's not good promotion, there's something that failed on it. This shit is fantastic. That's the thing that was also good about this, that they can work to their advantage. Physically, there wasn't a lot of physical things you saw happen. It was all in your fucking head to make you think, and they tugged on your emotions and your fears and your insecurities, and it made you really, really scared. And that's fucking fantastic. Even the ones that are probably more CGI, with the tall man that was walking around with the cane and everything.
He still looked pretty good.
He looked good. It didn't look like it was like clearly Photoshopped Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
It's like, well, hold on a second. I can't talk shit on this.
It's really funny hearing you just like ramble on about a movie, and not like rambling in a rant, but rambling in good way. Because I'm sure I'm used to you ranting about movies, and I'm pretty sure anyone that's seen these reviews are used to you just saying, this is shit, this is ass, this is piss, and now they're just like,
I mean, I'm
talking about good things.
I feel like I'm one of the more critical people when it comes to reviewing the things that we've done, and if you haven't seen this, go watch it right now.
But yeah, pretty much
perfect
score all the way around. That's probably a first timer in MykeCheck'd Productions or MykeCheck'd 95 or Geratron history.
Yeah. I mean, this is historic. I mean, I was talking about the ramifications of like this show. It's like no other TV show has been this quality as a horror show before, ever. You can't name one.
The next time you shall see us, we'll be covering again the Haunting series, but we will be covering the season 2 of Bly Manor. And it does take a very different turn in a very interesting path, but you will hear our blah 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 words and thoughts on that series. But until then, this is MykeCheck'd 95.
Krieger Margin 1.
Signing out.